Hello, I'm Jessica. It's peculiar how something in your grasp can feel both insignificant and weighty at the same moment. This certification I was so eager to display felt more insubstantial than a sheet of paper. It should have been proof of my success. But in this living room beneath the scrutiny of people who had already judged me, it was worthless. Then my father's voice, low and sharp like a cutting blade. Useless girl, you were never the bright one. He didn't have to raise his voice. His words had pinpoint accuracy. Discussions came to an abrupt halt. Wine glasses were suspended in midair. The atmosphere was dense as if it were suffocating me. Not a single person spoke up for me. Not a single person even looked my way. The confidence I felt vanished so quickly it almost made me feel dizzy. I am Jessica. I'm 30 years old, the co-founder and CEO of TechFlow. This is the story of how I made them all see me. Throughout my childhood I felt unseen. My older brother Michael was the golden child, the one everyone trusted. I was the imaginative one. But it was not a source of pride. They acted as if I would never earn a living from it. I recall when I was 17, I secured first place at a state design contest in Los Angeles. My father just glanced at the award and commented, "Well, you are staying occupied." Meanwhile, Michael's participation trophies had their own special shelf. That evening at dinner, I tried to discuss expanding my company once more. "Dad, I've been thinking." "Jessica, please," he said, cutting off my words as always. "Your brother just got a $1 million contract. Let's focus on actual success." My mother offered a courteous but mournful smile. My aunt patted my hand. "Maybe business isn't for you, dear. You were always so good with little projects." Little projects. That's what they call the platform I had been building for years. I went to the kitchen and checked my phone. My business associate Brian had texted me. "Did you tell them about the investor meeting?" "Not yet," I replied. "The timing isn't right." But in my mind I knew the timing would never be right in this house. The next morning I walked into our office. It was a remodeled warehouse with brick walls, large windows and 14 people building the future together. TechFlow began as sketches on napkins during my lunch breaks. Now it was about to change the industry. Brian handed me a coffee. "That bad?" "Same old story," I said. "Michael gets a contract and suddenly he's a hero. And we're just changing how businesses understand people. It's no big deal." He smirked. "Investor meeting is confirmed for Thursday. Coastline Partners wants to observe the algorithm in use. When it goes well," I corrected him, "we'll have the capital to grow and compete with Global Insights." Global Insights was the corporation that turned down my job application and told me to get a job that was less technical. I still kept that rejection letter in my desk to remind me. Thursday, the meeting room at Coastline Partners was uncomfortably hot. My blazer felt a bit too tight. As you can see from our projections, I started TechFlow's program works 27% better than what's out there. Global Insights uses historical data. We use real-time emotional science. They tell you what happened yesterday. We tell you what will happen tomorrow. 2 小时 hours later, Brian and I walked out in a stunned silence. They weren't just investing. They were leading a round of investment that estimated our firm's worth at $90 million. My phone rang. It was my mother. "Your dad's retirement party is on Sunday. Can you bring those brownies you used to make?" Brownies, $90 million. I was still the one in charge of dessert. 2 days later, the press released the story early. Forbes, Business Insider, The Wall Street Journal. My name, my face, my company everywhere. Messages came from old classmates, former colleagues, distant family, but not from my parents, not from Michael. When my father called, he said, "So now you're in the business news. We'll see how long that lasts before you face reality." Reality was that I had built a company from nothing on my own without their money, their connections, or their support. Sunday came and it was bright and clear. I drove to my parents' home in a new Lexus ES. The silver paint shined in the sun. I could feel everyone looking at me before I even got out. I gave my cousin the keys. "Can you park it? The driveway is full." My mother's welcome faltered when she caught sight of me. I wore a tailored cream suit, a blue silk shirt, and polished shoes that clicked on the pavement. My father's handshake was stiff when I gave him his gift. A special watch engraved to a new start. With love, Jessica. By the afternoon, everything had changed. Relatives who once gathered around Michael were now conversing with me, asking about my company. The magazine story, the 90 million variation. Michael attempted to sound casual. We should talk sometime, maybe work together. 3 years ago I had asked him the same thing. He told me to pursue something more established. I'll have my assistant contact you, I said, smiling. When my father eventually tapped his glass to make a toast, he began with Michael as he always did. Then he glanced at me and Jessica, who it appears has been creating something none of us comprehended. I always said she was the emotional one. Maybe I didn't see where that might lead her. It was not a true apology, but for the first time he said it in front of everyone. Perhaps he was mistaken about me. Later I was alone by the fence. He still hadn't opened the watch. I wanted to wait until it was quieter, he said. He stared at me, truly stared at me for the first time in a very long time. You're the CEO? Yes, of a 90 million company. Yes, driving that car. You knew what you were doing. Yes, Dad, I did. Army months later at the ribbon cutting for our downtown office, my family was there. My dad wore the watch. My mom hugged me and said, "We're so proud of you." Michael said, "I had no idea this is what you were building." "That's because you never asked," I told him. But this time without any anger. Standing there with glass walls and tactful etched into the steel, I finally felt it. The freedom from needing their approval. I was no longer the neglected daughter. I was Jessica, an innovator, and no one would ever refer to me as worthless.